What's up, y'all? RJ here with CV Tech, and today I'm giving you my top 5 phones of 2016. This will consist of Boost Mobile devices, since that is my primary carrier. While some phones came out in 2015, some phones on the list did come out this year. So I'm going to go ahead and get started in with this, with number 5 phone. And that will be the HTC Desire 626S. Now, this phone here was originally not going to be in this top 5 video. But since it got Marshmallow, it bumped it back up to number 5. And the reason why it is so nice with Marshmallow is it actually made the phone a bit smoother. It works better. It still has the same HTC Sense 7 and all that cool stuff. But the main thing is this phone here has the adaptable storage that comes with Marshmallow, which really helps out on a phone that only has 8 gigs of internal storage, because you only had around 3.5 gigs available whenever you got the phone. So it took no time to zap up that internal storage. So being able to put your SD card in here, format it for your internal storage. You have 1.5 gigabytes of RAM in this phone. So when you add a 16 gigabyte card or 32, whatever, it really helps out with apps, being able to add whatever you want to without having to really worry about running out of storage. So that's why it's number 5 on the list. It's called the Marshmallow Update. So yeah, still a good choice and still a good pick. It still works very well. 8 megapixel camera on the rear with, I think it's a 5 on the front, which is really good on outside sunlight. So yeah, 5-inch display, 720p display, works really well. Still a good phone. Number 4 on the list is kind of a surprise. That will be the Periscope Hydro Reach. Now, some will say, why this phone? Well, I'll tell you. This phone here is our low-end budget device. But this phone has been flawless in performance since I've had it. It's not giving me any issue. It runs 5.1 Lollipop. It's water and dust resistant. It's an extremely durable phone. This phone right here is very well built. Caricera is really well known to make well built phones. The quality sometimes might be a little bit lacking in some departments. I mean, it has a 5-inch display. I think it's 540 by 960 resolution, but the screen looks very well. It runs a Snapdragon 210 processor with only 1 gigabyte of RAM and 8 gigs of built-in storage. But honestly, I mean, it does kind of lag up on Facebook here and there, but it is a low-end device. But overall, this phone works smooth. It works like it's supposed to. Has good battery life. It's got a 5 megapixel camera on the rear, and I think it's a 2 megapixel camera on the front. And I know I've heard a lot of bad about this phone, which people will dog it just because it's a Caricera. That's just my personal opinion. But in my opinion, it's a great phone. And I mean, being water and dust resistant, and being a phone you can get for around $50 or even less. If anybody was to ask me, if you would, what phone would you recommend to somebody wanting to spend $50 or less on a phone for Boost Mobile? Definitely the Caricera Hydro Reach. It works good, no issues. Since I've had it, it works flawlessly. So yeah, great reception, great call quality, and a solid built phone. So that's number 4 on my list. Number 3, it will be the ZTE Warp Elite. Now, this phone here I got when it first came out sometime last year, I believe it was. And this phone here has been nothing but great. Got a really nice 5.5-inch 720p display, 13 megapixel camera on the rear with a 5 megapixel camera in the front. Runs 5.1 Lollipop. Unfortunately, I probably won't ever see Marshmallow, since ZTE rarely updates their devices. That's kind of pathetic, but that's just the way it is. But this phone here has been awesome. Reason why it is number 3 and not further up in the ladder is mainly because of the non-replaceable battery. And my battery is going bad. It does not last long at all. Of course, it was very tight squeeze anyway, getting this at number 3. Because I wanted to go higher, but it is an older phone. It has been out longer. But this is a really nice device to watch movies on, media on. Has that really nice Dolby Digital sound, which makes it sound really good with headphones in. Even makes a difference in the volume levels on watching YouTube. If you got it on music, it's not as loud. If you got it on movies, it does seem to get louder and more rich. So even the Dolby sound does make a difference in YouTube, Netflix, stuff of that nature by changing the settings and the sounds. But yeah, a really nice device. I mean, this right now is going for like $80 if you upgrade in store, and like $30 right now if you port in your number from another carrier other than a Sprint affiliate network. So really good device. It is over a year old, but with a 5.5-inch display running 2 gigabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes of onboard storage with a Snapdragon 410, it works. It works and runs flawlessly with no issues other than my battery issue of not being any good anymore, or it's going bad, and the unavailability to be able to replace it. So that's kind of a bummer, but that is number 3 on my list. It is the T-Warp Elite. Now, the first and second phone was a little bit tough to decide between. I've been going back and forth, using one, using the other, and I've been like, man, which one should go number 2? Which one should be number 1? And I have been feuding with this for the past several days, and I really believe that I have came to the conclusion that number 2 will be the LG Stylo 2, which has not been out very long. This phone has a really nice 5.7-inch display, 720p display with 13 megapixel camera on the rear and a 5 in the front. It runs Marshmallow 6.0.1. Has a removable battery, 3,000 milliamp hour battery. Has a really nice stylus pen that works much better than the original G Stylo. It has a few more features on it and stuff like that. This phone just works flawlessly with 2 gigabytes of RAM, 16 gigabytes of ROM, running Snapdragon 410. It just seems to just really fly. I mean, yeah, it's not as fast as the octa-core processors you see, or all these flagship devices, or even more mid-tier devices. But for what it is and for what you're getting, what you're paying for this phone, it works extremely well. I mean, there's nothing bad I can say about the Stylo 2. Reason why it came in second was because of the 5.7-inch screen. I don't like to always be carrying around and using a phablet type phone, because I prefer a little bit smaller phone, a little more of a smartphone size, more pocketable and stuff of that nature. But I don't have one thing bad to say about the Stylo 2. It's been a great phone, a flawless phone. It works like it's supposed to. It's speedy, it's quick. The only issue that I have ran into is the fact that you cannot move apps to the SD card. I don't know why, but yeah, no apps to SD. So I want to go and throw that in there. So that is number 2 on my list for phones from Boost Mobile. Now, for the number 1 phone that was a struggle between 1 and 2 will be the Samsung Galaxy J3. Now, this right here is a whole lot of phone for a little bit of money. This phone's here right now. You can get it places for around $100 at places, some a little bit higher, some a little bit less. And the main reason why I picked this phone is because it does everything that I want it to do with the size factor, form factor, and it's just an awesome phone. Now, it does run 5.1 Lollipop. Supposed to get Marshmallow sometime or another, but not really sure when. It's got a really nice 5-inch 720p display. I like the fact that the back, home, and the recents button is on the body, not on screen. The battery is removable. I love the goldish color of the phone with the silver chrome looking on the sides. I love the way it looks, the way it feels. Reception is strong. Call quality is strong. Battery life is good, and it is replaceable. The only thing that I would actually improve with the J3 would be the camera. The camera just about knocked it in the second place, because the camera is just not even close to comparable to the Stylo 2. That's what just about knocked it in the second. But this was still won over because of the 5-inch display. It is, to me, a little bit faster than the Stylo 2. having 1.5 gigabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes of onboard storage, running the same Snapdragon 410 processor. So that rounds out my top 5 list of phones of 2016, with the Samsung Galaxy J3 being number 1. If you are looking for a phone for around the $100 price tag, you know, you can't go wrong with the J3. It's a great phone. However, if you want a little bit bigger phone with a better camera, then the Stylo 2 would definitely be my very close, just very close. It's just very, very, very close. But like I said, I just sometimes just like carrying around a smartphone size phone that's not as big and bulky as, you know, the Stylo 2. But yeah, so that rounds it out. Let me know what y'all think about this list in the comment section below. What are some of your favorite phones? On Boost, Metro, Cricket, whoever you have, that are budget devices. I know that there's a lot of flagship devices out there and all that cool stuff. All these new devices coming out. But you know, what are some of your favorite budget phones right now? I'd like to know them in the comment section below. So if this was interesting in any way and you found it to be any help in choosing a phone down the road, leave me a thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate that as well. So y'all have a good one, and we'll see y'all in the next video.